Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jaya Radha Giridhari, Radha Giridhari, Sri Radhe. Jaya Radha Giridhari, Radha Giridhari, Sri Radhe. Jaya Gauranitai, 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 Sri Sri Gauranitai. Jaya Gauranitai, 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 Sri Sri Gauranitai. Jaya Jagannatha, Jagannatha, Baladeva, Jaya Subhadra, Jaya Jagannatha, 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 Jaya Baladeva, Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, Prabhupada, Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, Prabhupada, Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Jaya Gurudev, 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 Jaya Jaya Gurudev. Jagadguru Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Srila Gurudev ki jai, Hare Krishna Mahamantra ki jai, Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Hare Krishna, dear devotees, please accept my humble obeisances. Thank you for attending this session. I would like to say thank you to Savitri Mataji and Prabhuji for giving this opportunity to purify myself. Thank you very much, and please bless me so that I can deliver correct message of Srila Prabhupada. Hare Krishna. Today I am going to share the screen. Today we are reading the verse from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 4, Chapter 14, verse number 29, the story of King Vena. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Maitreya Uvacha. Itam viparyayamati vapiyan upatyam gataha anuniyamanas-tad-yasrunam nachakre brishta mangalaha. Maitreya uvacha itam viparyayamati papiyan utpatam gataha anuniyamanas-tad-yasrunam nachakre brishta mangalaha. Maitreya uvacha itam viparyayamati papiyan utpatam gataha anuniyamanas-tad-yasrunam nachakre brishta mangalaha. Hare Krishna. Anybody wants to recite this sloka? You are welcome.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavat Pranam.
Dandavat Pranam, Prabhuji.
Maitreya Vacha, Ittam Viparayayati,
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Pranam. I am
Pranam.
trying as well. Yeah.
Yes, please.
Maitreya Uvacha Ithang Viparjaya Moti Papi Anutpatham Gataha Ononiyamanas Ichanam Na Chakre Bhrashta Mangalaha. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji.
Shall I also try, Mataji?
Yes, Mataji, please.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Maitreya Uvacha Itham Viparjaya Matihi Papiyan Utpatham Gataha Anuniyamanas Yajnam Na Chakre Bhrashta Mangalaha. Thank you.
Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Anybody wants to try? If not, we'll go to synonyms. Anybody wants to read the synonyms translation?
Yes, Mataji. Maitreya Uvacha. Maitreya said, thus, Viparjaya Mati, one who has developed perverse intelligence, Papiyan, most sinful, Utpatham, from the right path, Gataha, and Manah, being the request of the sages, no, not Chakre, accepted, Rashtra, Vilipta, Mangala, all.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Translation.
Hare Krishna Mataji, can I?
Yes, Mataji, please.
The great sage Maitreya continued, thus the king, who became unintelligent due to his sinful life and deviation from the right path, became actually bereft of all good fortune. He could not accept the requests of the great sages, which the sages put before him with great respect, and therefore he was condemned.
Yeah, please continue the purport.
Purport and translation by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. The demons certainly cannot have any faith in the words of authorities. In fact, they are always disrespectful to authorities. They manufacture their own religious principles and disobey great personalities like Vyasa, Narada, and even the Supreme Personality of Godhead Krishna. As soon as one disobeys authority, he immediately becomes very sinful and loses his good fortune. The king was so puffed up and impudent that he dared disrespect the great saintly personalities, and this brought him ruination.
Thank you, Mataji. Thank you so much. Om Ajnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Salakaya Chakshurvanmilitam Yena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha. Narayanam Namaskrityam Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudiraye. Nashtapraya Subhadre Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttamasloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtaki Mukam Karoti Vachalam Pangam Nangete Girim Maham Bande Sri Gurum Dinatarinam Paramananda Madhamam Sri Krishna Andreswaram Krishna. So I'm going to read the translation one more time. So this is so informative. The great sage Maitreya continued, thus, the king, who became unintelligent due to his sinful life and deviation from the right path, became actually bereft of all good fortune. He could not accept the requests of the great sages, which the sages put before him with great respect, and therefore he was condemned. So I'm stopping the sharing here. So in this chapter, we have been reading the characteristics of Pingavena. From the beginning, we have been seeing the characteristics of king. Vena, it's not at all suitable to become a king from the young age. He was killing the animals. He was playing with friends very rudely, and he is behaving completely out of the religious path. All these characteristics we have seen. After becoming king also, he is continuing the same characters. So actually the sages, because of the king, so without king, the kingdom will not be at any prosperity. So in order to maintain that kingdom, sages, they decided to make King Veena as a king by consulting his mother, Sunita. But that proposal was not accepted by citizens and the other ministry. But sages, they made King Veena as a king. So the King Veena is not in that position to accept that king, but he is ready to accept, but he is not behaving like an actual Kshatriya. He is not performing his actual duties as a king to protect the citizens and to take care of the citizens and to lead the citizens in the spiritual path. He is not doing, and he also arguing with the sages that why you are so attached to the demigods and you have to no need to worship the demigods, you have to worship me. So here we can see the demonic quality of King Veena. So in the translation also, it is said that the unintelligent, he became unintelligent. That is very significant here. You have to understand what are the reasons why he became unintelligent and what are the root causes. And also in the translation, it continued that because of sinful activities, and also he is deviated from the religious path. And the third one is he is not respecting the authority, is not listening to the words of authority. So if you highlight these 3 points today class, we can understand what is the demonic behavior, and as a devotees, how we have to behave in our life, how to bring these principles in our life. So here, one more thing also explained in the translation that he is losing his good fortune. So these are all interlinked. So if you see one character, it is linked with another. So the degradation of King Veena, we can see in stages. He first of all, he lost the intelligence because of his sinful activities from the beginning, and also his deviation from the spiritual path, and also he is disrespecting the sages, words of the sages. By all the above factors, he is losing his fortune. And if you see the Bhagavad Gita, the first verse, Dharma Kshetre, Kurukshetre, Samaveta, Java, Namaka Pandavachara, Kim Kurvata Kama. Sanjay, the Dhritarashtra is asking Sanjay, what they are going to do. If you see the whole episode there, we can see clearly the signs of victory for the Arjuna. And there are no such signs of the fortunate for the Duryodhana. So anybody wants to say what are the reasons for the good signs for the Arjuna and not good signs for the Duryodhana? Anybody wants to share reasons? Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji. Arjuna was just following the advice that Krishna was focusing on. But
Yes.
Duryodhana, it was just against of it.
Yes, yes. So here, if you see the signs, is Prabhuji, that is true. So the presence of Krishna made him fortunate. So he lost that fortunate. Duryodhana, he lost that fortunate actually. So even though he got the opportunity, he asked for the Sena, army. So Narayan Sena, he asked for that, not Krishna. But so intelligently, so Arjuna asked for the presence of Krishna. That itself is a good fortune. We can see the difference here. And there are so many other signs also we can see in the battlefield, so that Arjuna is going to win the battle definitely. we are not discussing all those signs. The presence of Krishna itself is very good fortune. If you see the sinful activities, so today we are discussing 3 different topics. Sinful activities, what are the reasons and consequences, and what happens if they deviate from the results path, and what happens if they disrespect the authority, and what is the remedy for all this. These are the topics we are going to discuss. If you see the sinful activities, so these are, they don't just come like that. So these are from the previous activities. And Arjuna in the chapter 3.36, he asked Krishna, what is the thing impelling to everyone to do forcibly or unwillingly? Why they are doing that sinful activities? What is that factor is impelling them to do that sinful activities? The next verse, Krishna is saying 3.37, Kama yesa krodha yesa rajoguna samudbhava mahasana mahapatma vidye. So here Krishna is saying that is lust only, the desire only. That is the root cause of everything. When the desire contact with the material passion, it develops as a wrath, anger. If it is not fulfilled, so we're going to get anger, and that is the sinful enemy for everyone, the lust. And also in the next verse, the Krishna is 3.38, he is also saying different degrees of lust, and he compared the lust with 3 things. So the fire with smoke, the second one, the mirror covered by dust, and the third one, the womb covered by, the embryo covered by womb. 3 distinct these comparisons are given here. So the first one, if you see, the fire covered by smoke. So when you light the fire, so what happens? The smoke comes if it is not properly blazed. What after some time, if you continue to do that, after some time it get fire, it will be blazed. Will be easily, we can convert the smoke into blaze by little efforts. And if you see the mirror, the dust can be removed. It takes some time to remove the dust, but it will be eradicated. And the third one, the embryo is covered by womb. That means it is helpless condition. It is so helpless, that lust is so much, so it is deeply into that. So it cannot be taken away by normal processes. That is helpless, just like an embryo in the womb. So it is helpless condition. So everything is covered, cannot come outside, cannot move. So pitiful situation. So the first one, the smoke, the fire covered by smoke is compared with human beings. And the second one, the mirror covered by dust, it is compared with birds and beasts. The third one is compared with the trees. Trees they are helpless condition. They have to bathe, they have to tolerate the cold, hot. Trees, they cannot move. So it's so unbearable situation. It is helpless situation. So here Prabhupada is explaining in these words. So human beings are having that chance. They can convert themselves into pure consciousness, the impure consciousness to pure consciousness by little efforts. By what are that little effects? By doing devotional service. We can, just like the fire can be converted into blaze. After some time we get the fire. Actually it is lighting after some efforts. By the dust of the mirror also, by little bit efforts, it can be removed. So like that, we have to understand, so at what level we are, so what level of desires we are having. So it can be easily eradicated, or it can be not eradicated. So human beings are given that chance to understand the Lord, to do the devotional service so that they can change their consciousness, change their activities, change their karma. And here I am giving one more narration. No, that is not narration. This is actually the conversation between Lord Krishna and Bhishma Dev. So Bhishma Dev, after the war, he was on the bed of arrows. Last moments, he was talking to Krishna. So he asked Krishna, "Why Krishna happened it to me? I have not done any sinful actions in my previous birth." So Krishna said, "Yes, you didn't perform any sinful activities till last 100 births, but you have committed one sinful activity when you are in 101 birth before that. So that is carrying you to get this sinful action. This you are getting that results of that sinful action actually." So Bhishma Dev asked, "What is that?" So when you are before 101 birth, that time you are a king. So you went with your army to one kingdom. So you got the victory. In that victory, you are coming back. All the soldiers are so happy. You are in the joyful mood. You are coming back to your kingdom with a joy. That time, you saw your army and you saw one dead snake on the dead snake, one snake laying on the road. It is blocking your way. So you are in the joyful mood. You didn't think anything. You just asked soldiers. You asked to remove it. So soldiers said, "It is alive. How can we do it?" So you came forward and you took one stake. You the serpent, that snake, and throw it on the thorns. So it immediately died. So that sinful activity, because of that sinful activity, you are causing the results now. So that sinful actions are very, very strong. So nobody can escape from these sinful actions. So better not to do the sinful actions. And we are going to talk about what are the remedies for that, avoiding sinful actions. And if you see the other thing came into my mind. So the lust, we are talking about the desires. If you know the desires, the senses are that these are the roots to get the desires. If you see something, you are getting the desires from the eyes. If you are seeing something very tasteful, you are desiring for that. The tongue is getting that. By experiencing, so you know that it will be so tasty. And if I say that my eyes get pleasure. So by different senses, you are experiencing that. And you are getting the more and more desires to fulfill their senses. So if you see, Prabhupada explained, the mind is superior to senses. If you control the mind, the senses are automatically controlled. So how to control the senses? It was explained by Srila Rupa Goswami in Nectar of Instruction, Vacho Vegam, Krodha Vegam. So he explained nicely how to control all these urges of senses. The superior to mind, intelligence. If your mind is not controlled, if your mind is not engaged in the service of Lord, in the spiritual activities, it will get corrupt and your intelligence will be lost. So intelligence is the main thing so that you can continue your journey, you can continue your spiritual journey. Otherwise, everything will be collapsed and it will immediately affect the soul. So mind, intelligence, soul. So these are all depend on the senses. So this is very important to control the senses. The process are given by Srila Rupa Goswami in Nectar Instruction, how to control the senses. And in the second chapter, 63 verse, the Krishna is speaking about what are the stages we get initiation, how we do the sinful activities. Krodhat bhava sammoha, sammoha smriti brahmsaha, smriti brahmsa vidinasa, buddhinasa pranasyati. So here so nicely explained the stages where we get deterioration by the lust, by the desires. The desires are the root causes. When you are getting the desires, what happens? If it is not fulfilled, you get immediately anger and it becomes wrath. If you are not using that wrath properly, so it will go, your memory will be lost and your intelligence will be affected. The same thing is happening to Veena, King Veena here. He lost the intelligence. He became unintelligent because here he is not controlling the mind. He is not controlling the desires. He is not controlling his senses. He want to enjoy more and more whatever he see. He is, finally also became, he declared himself as a Lord. You worship me. So he puffed up with the pride, false pride. So yesterday and day before yesterday, Rangadevi Mataji and Radha Padma Mataji explained so nicely about the false ego, what is false ego and how to avoid it. So it immediately affects the intelligence, so that soul will be corrected. So what are the results for that one? So when I was hearing my Gurudev's, His Holiness Jananand Maharaj lecture, so he was explaining that if you not following the authorities, if you are not respecting the spiritual authorities, immediately the consequences you come to material pool and you come to the cycle of death and birth. And what happens? You will be affected by three modes. Mode of goodness, passion, and ignorance. Whenever you come to the mode of ignorance, that means you are in the illusion only. That means he lost the intelligence because couldn't control the mind and senses. Finally, the soul will be affected. Prabhupada also given the example, the analogy, how these senses and mind, they are compared with, the body is compared with the chariot and senses are compared with the horses. One passenger is traveling, and the driver, he is controlling the horses by ropes. And soul, if he controls the horses with the ropes, the passenger can reach the destination properly. So here the senses are controlled with the horses, mind is controlled with the rope. If you are not controlling the horses with the help of ropes, they go here and there, they deviate from the path. The passenger cannot reach the destination. And it is in the hands of chariot driver. Chariot driver is compared with the intelligence, that is buddhi. In Bhagavad Gita, so many places Krishna explained about buddhi yoga. Use your intelligence. Use your intelligence. Don't lose your intelligence. Use the intelligence in a proper way to go to higher planets, not to degrade. And passenger is here, in this analogy, passenger is compared with the soul. If the driver takes the passenger in a proper destination by controlling the horses with the help of ropes, the passenger reaches the goal so safely. In the same way, if you control the mind, with the intelligence, the soul reaches the destination properly. So here in this episode also, King Veena, so he is losing the intelligence because he couldn't control the mind senses, and it is causing his ruination. And if you come to the second part, deviation from the spiritual path, doing whimsically. So here King Veena is doing so whimsically according to his own. So he is declared himself as a God. He asked them to worship. He condemned all the sweet words of sages. He's not respecting. And what is happening? If you see the soldier by the order of authority, if they fight for the country, finally they get the award. Why? Because they are following the authority. If the same person, same soldier, if he kill his neighbor or somebody else without any permission, what happens? He'll go to jail. So in the same way, the authorities, you have to follow the instructions. We have to follow the religious path. He is a king. What is his duty? To protect the citizens, to take care of the citizens, and make it. It's like a leader, good leader. He has to lead them properly in the spiritual path. He himself is a blind. He cannot lead the others. They also become blind because he is not respecting the spiritual authorities. He's doing whimsically. In the same example, Duryodhana, if you see the Duryodhana, he is in the bad association of with the Sekuni. And so he is not in the correct way, he's not in the spiritual path. He's away from the spiritual religious path. So he is doing whimsically whatever he wants to do it. And if you see the Nalakuvera, you see that story. So they are also popped up with the positions. Their father is a demigod, and they also appointed as a Rudras, one of the great Rudras, and they popped up with their position, they popped up with their opulences. So they lost intelligence. So the Narada Muni, they didn't give the respect to Narada Muni also. That's why they degraded. In the same way, Ravana, if you see the Ravana, so when he was kidnapping Sita, he didn't listen to anyone. So Vibhushana words also, he rejected. So he was doing whimsically. So what is the reason for doing this? For enjoyment. They want to enjoy more and more. So they couldn't control the senses. They couldn't control the mind. So what mind says, they do whimsically. That's why their degradation starts. The same comes Hiranyakasipu. So Prahlad also, so many, he tried to Hiranyakasipu, his father, so many ways. But he is not in a position, he was not in a position to understand the supremacy of Lord. So he also declared himself a god. He asked the citizens to worship him only. The same way, King Bhina also, he condemned the words of the sages, and he wants to follow his. In 15th chapter Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, that means that is the what is the blocking factor for the surrender to the Lord? That is false pride. Because of false pride, so we cannot advance in the spiritual path. So the demonic nature will align. So demonic nature, demonic means the opposite of divine. They lose all the qualities, divine qualities, and they come to the demonic nature, means they all doing all abominable acts. It leads to their sinful actions. And if you see the Padma Purana, so it is explained these sinful actions they leads to they cause some sufferings. The sufferings of human being is the sufferings of living entities because of 3 reasons. That is papam, bijam, and avidya. So what is papam? The sins arise because of sin. The sufferings arise because of doing some sinful actions. That is papam, sinful actions. So we discussed before the sinful actions because of our desires, lust. So because of lust, if it is not fulfilled, it goes to wrath, and we lose memory and we lose our intelligence. So that is the reason. And if the bijam, what is the bijam? The sufferings because of the desires, suffering because of desires. Avidya, the suffering because of ignorance. here in this story also, the King Veena, he is not, that means he is going to suffer very soon because of the sinful actions, because of no knowledge about Lord. So what is Vidya? So anybody wants to share what is Vidya and Avidya?
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Avidya is just one word, is unintelligent or ignorance. And Vidya is the intelligence applied to the religious principle.
Yes, Prabhuji. Yeah. Thank you, Prabhuji. Yes, sir. So Vidya means knowing about religious principles, and Vidya is they're completely in ignorance. We get the sufferings because of that. That is the root cause of everything. Why? So the avidya means we are not accepting the Lord, the supremacy of Lord, and we are not accepting Sanatana Dharma. What is our Dharma? We are servants, eternal servants of Lord. So knowing that is real knowledge, real vidya. If you don't understand that Sanatana Dharma, so you fall again into material fold. That is ignorance. So not knowing the supremacy of Lord, not knowing the Sanatana Dharma, not knowing about the actual duty of human being, Sanatana Dharma, it causes ignorance. So because of that also you have to suffer. So sufferings caused by papam, sufferings caused by bijam, sufferings caused by avidya. And in same Padma Purana, it's also explained the 4 types of sinful reactions or the sinful acts. So we are discussing about the sinful acts because of the desires they accumulate. And what happens once you done sinful actions? What happens in the next? So they go in the 4 stages. Aprapta. Okay. The first one is prarabdha, aprarabdha, and the bijam, kutam. So these are the 4 stages of the sinful reactions for your sinful actions. Generally, we don't think about these. So we do sinful actions, and sometimes we think, okay, we are chanting, all the sinful actions will go away. So it's not like that. The nature punishes. It is a witness for your sinful actions. One day you get punishment for that. Just like a Bhishma Dev, after 101 birth, he got the suffering, he got the reactions for his sinful actions. In the same way, sometimes immediately, sometimes maybe in the future. So that is prarabdha kamya, means already you are suffering because of previous whatever sufferings. So Prabhupada explained in Nectar of Devotion by Srila Rupa Goswami, he was commenting that what are the prarabdha kamya, whatever sinful sufferings we are causing by previous actions, that is ugly, being ugly, and illiterate, and also some legal problems and health problems. These are all sufferings from previous actions. Those are prarabdha karma. Aprarabdha karma means, so in the future they are going to fructify, not at mature, but in future they are going to rectify. If you see in the case of Veena, so he is doing so many sinful actions, still he is doing. In future he is going to get a part of the karma, for the punishment for the sinful actions in the future. And what is kutam? Kutam means it is a sack of, say, whole sack, stock of these sins. We are accumulating, one after one. One may think. So devotees generally they think, so why we are suffering? Why we are suffering? We are not doing anything. Not only devotees, this is a general trend. They think like that. Why we are suffering? Even though we are not doing any bad action in this life, why good people get sufferings? So because of previous, that is a prarabdha kamya. You get punishment for that sinful actions in the future. And why? That they accumulate in the stocks. That is called kutam. And what about bijam? Bijam means it is going to fructify very, very soon. So seed is going to get the plant very soon. So in the same way, bijam means all are accumulating in the form of kutam. It is going to bijam. Right? It is going to fructify. When it is going to fructify in future, it's called prarabdha. When you are suffering in the same time, present time, it is prarabdha karma. So sinful actions, the sufferings because of kotam, bijam, avidya, and the reactions of prarabdha karma, bijam, and kotam. If you know all these, so we know that we should not do. One day we are going to suffer. One day we are going to punish for this. So if you have that understanding, so we don't do sinful actions. And the next one is the disrespecting the authorities. That is very, very, very important for us to respect the authorities. In ISKCON, the important principle of ISKCON is following the authority. That's why we are in the disciplic section. Whatever the previous acharyas they tell, we follow it. So, and also Prabhupada explained why we have to follow. The reason to follow is because these acharyas are fill each and every moment with Krishna consciousness. If you see our daily schedule, Mangalarati, 4:30, you raise in the morning, Mangalarati, attending Mangalarati, chanting, Darsanarati, Prasadam, and Bhagavatam class, book distribution. If you see, each and every moment of our life is filled with Krishna consciousness. So previous acharyas set our day like that, so that we will take it. So Prabhupada also says, here there is no experiment. Just take it. There is no wastage of time. So if you want to eat banana, somebody peels it and give. So it is ready to eat. No need to peel again. So it is ready to. In the same way, previous acharyas, they have given everything. They have seen the truth, and they are imparting that knowledge to us. So we are simply taking. By following them, we get success in our devotional life. So there is no question of doubt. There should not be doubts, and there should not be speculating. Why I do like this? Why I have to do like this? No speculations, because they already examined it and they followed it. They are showing the path to us. That is the importance of following authority. So they filled every moment with Krishna consciousness. Just take it and advance in the spiritual platform. So these are the three things discussed here in the translation. He became unintelligent because of sinful actions, and he deviated from the path, and also he disrespecting the sages. Because of that, he is losing his fortunate. So he is a king. He can enjoy kingdom so nicely. So by respecting citizens, by respecting the sages, if they follow it, so he will be a good king. Actually. So in this, if you see the previous kings, Dasarath Maharaj, Janak Maharaj, even though they king, they are Rajarshis, but they follow their guru, Rajguru. They are taking the words from the authority and they are doing whatever it is. That's why they got succeeded. And the in Bhagavad Gita 7.14, Krishna also, Namam Dushkritino Moda, Padyante Naram, Maya Prahati Jnanam, Asram Bhava Asrita. These four types of people, they cannot surrender. So why? Because this knowledge is covered by Maya. So they are lowest of mankind. They are in ignorance. They are demonic nature. They never reach Krishna. They cannot understand the supremacy of Lord. That's why they take birth, death again and again, again and again. They cannot come out of that. Here, Prabhupada and Srila Rupa Goswami in Nectar of Devotion, they have given the process how to come out of that cycle of birth and death, come out of that material pool. So the process is explained in Chaitanya Charitamrita, 22nd chapter, 100 words. Saranagati, 6 types of Saranagati. So anybody wants to share what are the 6 types of Saranagati?
The Saranagati song is there by Bhaktivinoda.
अनुकूल्यस्य संकल्पः,
Yeah.
प्रतिकूल्यस्य वर्जनम्,
अनुकूल्यस्य संकल्पः प्रतिकूल्यस्य वर्जनं, रक्षिष्यति इति विश्वासो गुप्तत्वे वर्णं तथा,
Yes.
आत्मनिक्षेपकार्पण्ये सर्वदा शरणागतिः.
Yes, Mataji, thank you so much. So these are the 6 ways we can surrender. So in the Bhagavad Gita also Krishna says, Devi sa gunamaya mamamaya durachya mamayaviye prapatyante mayayitam taratate. So it is very, very difficult to overcome the maya illusion, that is avidya. So by surrendering to Lord, we can easily eradicate these disturbances. We can easily eradicate. And in Nectar of Devotion also, Srila Rupa Goswami explained the characteristics of pure devotional service. One of the characteristics of pure devotional service is Klesagni. What is the Klesagni? It burns away all our sufferings at any stage. In previously we have discussed aprarabdha, prarabdha, bijam, kutam, whatever stage, no matter, if you surrender to the Lord, if you take up the devotion path, immediately all your sins will be eradicated, burn. So that is the power of devotion service. That's why the first property of devotion service is Klesagni. It burns all the sufferings from bijam, kutam, prarabdha. And if they fail to understand the Sanatana Dhamma, so they are still in the process of prarabdha, all these bijam, kodam. So what in the 6 ways of Saranagati, so whatever Krishna likes, whatever the favorable path, the devotion service we are doing, whatever unfavorable we are rejecting. And 1 or 2 points, very important. Rakshisyati visvaso goptrate varanam tada. That means you have to understand he is the maintainer, he is the protector. And we have to learn how to depend on Krishna. So if you learn that art, how to depend on Krishna, he is maintainer. Whatever the situations, he protects us, just like a Prahlad Maharaj. So his father, he was throwing him from the mountains, he was putting in the hot oil, and so many other ways. He wanted to kill, but all this situation, he was just remembering Lord Narayana, Narayana. So that is the only way. He completely understood he is a protector. Nothing will happen to me. So he is a maintainer. No need to worry about anything. Just surrender. So the surrenderance is it's a very broad. It's a broad word. But we have to take the process how to surrender. We have to understand that he is a maintainer. He is a guardian to us, and with a humble make. So then he will take care of us. The devotion service is the only process to avoid all these sinful actions and sinful reactions, and to get rid of away from the desires. If you think he is the proprietor, 5.29, Bhoktaram Yajatapsam Sarvaloka Maheswaram. If you think that principle, he is the proprietor, then no need to worry about anything, no need to desire for anything other than the devotion service. So if it is not yours, why you are hankering? That is the question. What to think about? If see, when there Prabhupada always says one example, there is a sack of rice on the road. Birds come, they take whatever they want, one grain, one bird come, one grain. But when the person sees it, human being, they say they take whole sack. That is the greedy. So why they have to be greedy? So there is a quota for everyone. So Lord is providing everything to everyone. So that we have to understand. If it is not ours, we should not take. If there is no worry about it, why you are hankering for that? In the same way, if you see in the 7th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, so everything, heat, light, water, everything is coming from Krishna only. So you can see everywhere in the nature Krishna. So it belongs to Krishna. Whole creation is created by him. It belongs to them. Why I have to render on it? Why I have to take? This is not my property. If you understand that, so you no need to commit any sinful actions. There will be no greed, no desire, and there will be no lust, no anger. We can control one by one. They are coming in the hierarchy. So senses, mind, intelligence, and soul. So if you say this order, so first you come to understand the controlling the senses are very important. That we can take from the Srila Rupa Goswami's letter of instruction on how to control our senses. If we follow sincerely in our life, so we'll get benefit out of it, and we can succeed in our devotion service. So in this story also, Kangalina is bereft of all the good fortune because he is losing his intelligence and doing all the abominable acts, and is not respecting authorities, and he is away from the spiritual path. If you understand all these points, we can analyze ourselves, and how to we can analyze and we can correct ourselves by following the spiritual process given by our previous acharyas and Prabhupada. Hare Krishna. I'm going to stop here. If you want to add any more points, and, can correct me. You are more welcome.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavat Pranam.
Dandavat Pranam, Prabhuji.
Beautiful class. Just rewinding this our NOD class is very, very important. Now with this example, we can revive the learnings from NOD. Yeah, as you explained, it's 4 stages, which is very, very important. We just forget it, but we don't understand what is done in the previous life, what is good, what we are doing in this life, and all things, it goes in the 4 stages. Prarabdha, Prabdha, Uttam, and Bijam. These are the 4 things. Ultimately, the Bijam gets ready for the next life. So whatever is accumulated in the previous life, that is the suffering for this life. And it gets accumulated, and then it follows life after life. It's a very good explanation, and as you explained how the Sharanagati. I remember one song from Sharanagati. That's my favorite song. Even our Guru Maharaj used to sing this so nicely. Bhakti Charu Maharaj used to sing Dhanatma Nivedana Gotritte Varan Avashya Rakshiye Krishna Vishta Kapala Bhakti Anukula Matra Kanchir Shikar Bhakti Pratikula Bhav Varjanangikar. So that is the only way to accept the devotional service in the right mood, and everything will get set in the right order. If we don't follow, the consequences like Dina, as you can see from the example of Dina, the same thing happening, and we will also have to the same nature of feeling the consequences if we don't follow. So it is a notice, cautions for all of us to be aware of all these things and move forward in the right direction. Thank you, Mataji.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Yes, you are right. The accumulation, so what we are accumulation is very important. We are accumulating sins or we are accumulating devotion. So we have to understand. So which way we have to go? Advance, higher planets. Yes, Prabhuji, thank you so much. Hare Krishna. And also this Klesagni, so it starts from the Nishta, the stage of Nishta. So that's where after Anartha Nivritti, Nishta will start. So after clearing all our Anarthas, so the Klesagni, the devotional service, it burns all our previous Anarthas and also our sufferings. That is the stage. The Klesagni starts.
Thank you.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji. Very nice class.
Thank you.
You discuss about how sin comes in our life because of the desire, and what's the cause and effect, and then the remedies. Very nicely you discussed, especially in that our Saranagati should be like that. Very, very nicely with the example we have discussed. And also, yeah, I am remembering the class, our Bhakti Shastri, how nicely Sri Krishna Prabhu is to tell, and still remember when you told us all these sinful activities because of desire. And that's why for the desire means if we are in ignorance, if we don't know, then all desire will come, and we will not that mitigate to that desire, where to take and how to react. So if we have the knowledge, then we can take the decision what to do and what not to do. And we are in this process. Srila Prabhupada is so merciful. We are in the we have taken the shelter of Srila Prabhupada, so we came to know all these things. But those who are in Abhidha, they don't know.
Yes.
So yes, so it's so nice process. Those moments we are following, but still sometimes we means our desire comes and we get the result same time. Even something something in a regular life, when eating and something so small things, we can relate all these things.
Yes, Mataji. Yes, definitely. Yeah.
And we have remedies also. We have same time. So we try to avoid sometimes. We cannot control our mind. Sometimes we can. So sometimes we go with the dilemma. But if we stay with the Srila Prabhupada's books and devotees association, really, we will cross over all this ignorance. Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
And yes, Mataji. So you are right. All acharyas, they are given the process how to take the vidya from avidya. Everything is there. Simply following it. That's all. So easily we can overcome the ignorance and we get the knowledge about absolute truth. Thank you, Mataji. Yeah.
Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Anybody? Any additions?
Hare Krishna Mataji, thank you very much for the nice class. Very nice class, very well explained, and so scientific the process is to come out of sin and to become intelligent. I was just, the question that I was thinking of is that the process is so simple and so scientific. And yet when we try to reach out, like it's so difficult to reach out to people. They don't even have time to stop and listen to something so simple and scientific. So just was thinking how one can actually reach people's ears and minds and heart to the simple knowledge which can make their life successful.
Yes, Mataji. So actually, Prabhupada says by prasadam, so serving prasadam, it helps a lot. So the conscious level, the changes easily. We can call them, we invite them and give the prasadam. So gradually they change their consciousness. And also we engage them because they are lacking this knowledge. And instead of giving straight away this knowledge, invite them for the services. They gradually do services, some services related to the spiritual act. They definitely take this moment, Mataji. So giving the prasadam, it helps. and engaging them in some services, whatever it is. So according to their skills, according to their talents, if you invite them for the services, gradually they get the taste, ruchi. In that way, slowly we can impart that knowledge, that science into their hearts. If you say straight away chant, they don't have a time, they don't do it. By doing services, it is a immediate effect, Mataji. So engaging in the services and distributing prasadam, give some prasadam to them. These are the two ways personally I experienced, Mataji. These are the two effective ways to make them understand.
Thank you very much, Mataji. Yes, that's very nice. Thank you.
Hare Krishna Mataji, just I have one question. If someone also doesn't want to take the prasadam,
Yeah.
So how will be the process for them? Sometimes people also doesn't want to take the prasadam.
Yeah, so they don't want to take prasadam. So Prabhupada also given the other way, Mataji. So give some books, Mataji. Books also, they are very effective way. Some way or the other, if the book is with them, so it's the books of Bhagavad Gita about themselves or Krishna. Somehow or other, they change their minds. There are so many examples. One time, the one devotee, he got one small piece of Bhagavad Gita. So he just took that piece of paper from the road, he kept it in the shelf, and after many years, he started that. Yeah, he started reading that small paper. So in that paper, it was there in that paper about that soul transmigration. So he got really stuck with that word, that sentence. And he was searching for it. Where can I get this complete book? One day he came to one of the, he came to meet one of the devotees. He got that book and he read it and he became a devotee. So that is also one way, Mataji. So not immediately.
Yeah, we have to wait for some time.
Wait for some time. Definitely the results will come, Mataji.
Yeah.
Books
Sure.
and engaging in services, all these are the practical and very quick effects, Mataji. Bringing them into consciousness.
Surely, yeah. Thank you, Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji. Thank you so much for the nice class and the realizations and sharing the various references. So just one thought came to mind. So when you mentioned that Goptrutve Varanam Tata, that is the Lord is the maintainer and he is the basically protector and maintainer.
Yes.
So
yes.
just thinking, just for me personally, when something nice is happening, so-called nice, materialistic, something material nice is happening, then I see, oh, see, Krishna is so nice, he has done this. So how I can develop the attitude when something so-called bad or so-called unfavorable also happens, how I can develop the attitude to see that as the mercy of the Lord, to see that Krishna is doing it for my benefit. So any tips like that, Mataji, for that?
Is actually, Prabhuji, so devotees, you know that devotees, they think it is a boon. So whatever, so the thing, they have to accept it. So the acceptance is that it all comes from the, actually this is a test, Prabhuji, for the devotees. So leave the non-devotees, they don't find any difference, but especially for the devotees, this is the test. How you are advancing depends on how you are accepting the problems and how you are coping up with that problems. So everything depends on that is a test, Prabhuji, actually. If the problem comes, so instead of worrying about that one, if you leave it to Lord, okay, Krishna, I can accept this. So you are doing it for my betterment in the future. If you think like that, if you accept like that, so it will go. So like a Kunti Maharani, so prayers, so you give the calamities, and if you pray for the Krishna, it's like a ocean. The problems come like a ocean, but you accept that problem in a humble way. okay, Krishna, if you accept it, and that big ocean became like a small, the size of the hoop, the calf hoop, how much it is, very small. The ocean becomes like that. You can easily cross over it. It's all depends on your consciousness, Prabhuji, how you are accepting it, and it is a test for you also. So if you are accepting and if you are tolerating that pains, so by leaving everything to Lord, that means you are advancing. If you are worrying means you are not advancing. It's all it's a test. It's all depends on your consciousness, how you are accepting. And the devotees also, it is known, Bhakti Vinod Thakur and so many acharyas also, they wrote so many bhajans about. So while they are asking for more calamities, more sufferings, because they know that if they are suffering, you can remember Lord. Can remember. Actually, we remember Lord when there is a, as you said, when there is a happy, they think it is because of my strength. If the any problem comes, they think it is because of Lord. He blames on Lord. Why you are giving this calamity to me? Why this you are giving problem to me? Because you don't like me. You are not looking at me. So many things we blame. But as a devotee, we have to understand it is for our own purification. If you remember that word, so you can never regret for the any problems, Prabhuji. So because it is for our own benefit, if it is for our purification, if you think, that means you are advancing the spiritual journey. So you can test yourself. So that is the one tip I can give, Prabhuji. So if anybody wants to add.
Thank you, Mataji. Yeah, no, that's nice. No, thank you very much.
Yeah, just I would like to know point here. That's add. We have to remember that King Anga. Yeah.
Yes, Mataji. Yes, King Anga. So he's also, he accepted and he tried so many ways to rectify his son.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we have to always remember the all examples.
Yes, Mataji. So those are the inspirations for us, each and every moment. So our acharyas and our Bhagavad Gita, it is full of examples and so many stories. So if you meditate on them also, we get lots of inspiration, how to tolerate our pains, how to tolerate our sufferings. So no need to go anywhere. So non-devotees, they go for a counsel, they go to doctor. How to, if they get the depression, they go to doctor, they give some medicines. So because you are in depression, you take these medicines. So but we have our solution. So we have a biggest solution for our problems. We know that. So we need not to go to council. So our previous acharyas already, they made that counseling for us. They made remedies for us. Just take it and follow it.
Yes, thank you. Thank you, Mataji. Yeah.
Thank you, Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
Yeah, only thing is we are not ready to accept it. That's why.
Yeah, that should come, Prabhuji. Actually, that comes when you learn how to depend on Krishna.
Yes.
That will come. So
Yes.
have to learn how to depend on Krishna. Then only that point will come to our mind to acceptance.
Just an example, like a few days in my workplace, one of my staff was going through this mental mental depression. I was telling her, she's of course listened to our classes, and I speak to her sometimes about Bhagavad Gita. She listens it, but then afterwards everything goes normal. So yesterday I was telling her, why don't you listen the Bhagavad Gita classes and sit on that, listen, put down your, and then if you find any problem,
Yeah, your voice is breaking, Prabhuji.
the other side will be automatically off. Focus on those verses or the lecture, you will automatically forget the other things, and it will slowly cure your depression.
Yes.
Not to worry about. So let's see how it goes.
Yes, sir. So, yeah, what we do, we just listen and leave it. So we have to start implementing it, all these. We have to meditate on these points. So then only it will come into practice.
Yes.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji, for sharing. Hare Krishna. So if anybody wants to share anything, otherwise we'll close the class. Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mataji, thank you for the class. If there are no further questions, then we will close the meeting. Thank you so much, and we'll be hearing from you soon.
Tarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya eva cha patitanam pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo namo namah. Ananta koti Vaishnavebhyo
की जय श्री
Jai.
प्रभुपाद की जय हिंद सावित्री देवी दासी की जय हर
Jai.
Hare Krishna Mataji. Thank
Hare
you so
Krishna.
much. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Yes.